Hello, my name is Aleena Hurd. I am a senior from Rochester High School in Rochester, Washington, and I do Running Start through Centralia College. Today I am working on a project to help share what Running Start is like and why it may be good for you, why it may be bad for you, and just my overall experience. So I will be starting with a day in my life video of Running Start and being a Running Start student. And then afterwards, it will follow with a sort of frequently asked questions where I answer with my personal experience and interpretation, and just to help you get a better insight on Running Start as a whole. Okay, so it is about 7:50 a.m. right now. I have an 8 a.m. lecture. Kind of crazy, but we make do. So let's go to class. Alrighty, so I am finished with my class now. I'm just walking to one of the study spaces on campus to prepare for my next class, which isn't until 10. So it is now about 12:15. I'm done with classes for the day, so woohoo! And I'm now in my office. I actually work here at the college. I'm on student government. I run the social media. I'm going to do some work for a little bit. And then I've got like a Zoom meeting, and yeah. So now I'd like to share my personal experience with Running Start overall as a whole. Obviously you just watched the day in my life portion of the video, but that is only one day out of the week, and there's a lot more to it than what you saw in the video. So just a little background, I am going into medicine. I plan on transferring to university, followed by medical school, to ultimately become a doctor. That is my career pathway that I intend to follow. So I would just like to say overall, Running Start has been one of the best decisions I have made in my life. There's definitely some cons, but for the most part it's pros, and I don't regret it one bit. I think it's really just a genuinely amazing program that Washington State has, and I think that anyone should take advantage of it, really. So now just for an overall rundown. So I spent my first year of Running Start taking easier courses to help me prepare for my second year, which is now, where I'm taking STEM courses and just a lot harder classes in general. And I think that was a very smart decision because I got to know what the lecture style felt like and what assignments are like and all of that sorts of things. And it really helped me be prepared for these classes such as chemistry and calculus that are, a lot more like mind-bearing, but I definitely think it's manageable now that I've taken those other classes to help me get prepared for it. Another thing is I feel like a good part of my high school community. I do theater, and I do a lot of other extracurriculars, and I actually even take a class at my high school, and I still feel like a high school student. I do take majority of my classes at the college, and I work at the college, and I do clubs at the college, and I do feel really involved in the community at the college, but I also feel really involved in the community at the high school. A lot of my friends did choose to do Running Start. That was just the group I hung out with. We all ended up going to Running Start for the most part. We all do still stay in touch all the time. We try to take as many classes as we can together, but we don't all have the same career paths, so obviously that's not always possible. But it's really good to have people going into Running Start that I knew I was like, oh gosh, like this class is hard. Oh yeah, my classes are hard too. Like, you know, we could relate to each other on what it was like, especially towards the beginning. Another thing is just meeting new people and building like these resources and a network that I am now able to use in my future. I think it looks really impressive, especially in college applications, to have my college professors be writing like my letter of recommendations and such, and just being able to know actual college students rather than Running Start students that are older than me and have experienced more. It's really really important and such a good value that I've really enjoyed as a part of Running Start. There is definitely some cons to Running Start. You know, I have had some rough days, and I'm not shy to say that. You know, classes are hard, especially this year. My first like unit for each class this year was really difficult. But you know, eventually I worked through it. And yes, I do spend like a lot of time doing schoolwork, but I actually do think that I'm spending less time doing schoolwork than I would have been if I was just taking AP and honors courses and stuff at the high school. I also think that, you know, the fact that I have to like commute and stuff can be a little bit of a hassle, but overall I think it's worth it because I personally think I'm getting a better education, and I feel as though all the content that I'm learning in these classes, especially the classes that I know knowing the content for my future career is going to be really important. It's all in my brain, like impacted, and I know all of it a lot better than I think I would have if I had learned it at the high school. But there is so many pros, which I already said, but yeah, overall I think it's really, really amazing. I recommend it to everyone. So I think the main question that I hear all the time is it hard? Is the content of college courses hard? Are you drowning in homework all the time? All sorts of those questions. And I'm going to give my personal experience and my personal interpretation. Keep in mind that this may not be the same at every college, but I do feel, and I have recognized this from a lot of my friends that have taken Running Start, so I can give a general gist, I guess. So I've noticed that in high school classes, it is a lot of busy work. You're constantly doing something. However, with college courses, it's fewer assignments, but they do have more of an impact on your grade, and they are a lot harder assignments. So overall, I think college classes tend to have like harder content, but I do think that as far as the workload goes, it's also a lot easier in that sense because you do get a lot more free days, at least I have, and you have a lot more time to relax. You have a lot more time to work on each individual assignment. It's not just every day turning something in, which I did notice with my high school classes. So another main question I get quite frequently is, do you still feel like a high school student? Are you missing out on the high school experience? All sorts of those things. And the biggest thing I have to say about that is that it is what you make of it. There are high school extracurriculars that you, as a high school student, because you still are technically a high school student, you are allowed to join those extracurriculars. I know a lot of people that I go to Running Start with still do sports with the high school. I personally still do theater with the high school and a lot of other clubs, and I still feel really connected to the high school. I still feel part of that community. And you are allowed to join all of these extracurriculars. And if you want to still feel part of that community, that is open to you always. Another main thing is that the school, usually the principal or the vice principal, and sometimes even the student government, will post on social media or send out emails to your school email about the events that are going on with the dates and the times, things like pep assemblies or senior events. And again, as a high school student, you have access to those things. You are allowed to attend those events. And when you do those things, again, you feel like you are a part of the community and you feel like you are still a student at the high school. A lot of people, it's their own personal decision. I know some people that really didn't want to be a part of the high school anymore, and so they don't go to those events. And I also know people that really cared about having a high school experience, and they do practically everything at the high school except for just, the actual classes. And either which way is fine. It really just depends on how involved you want to be with the high school. Again, you can still get really involved at the college. Like I work there, I do a lot of clubs there. So either way, it really just depends on your personal feeling towards that and how you want to take it. So another question I get asked quite frequently is who would I recommend Running Start to, and what kind of students would benefit from doing Running Start. So I'd first like to say that anyone can do Running Start, It really is just, are you up for the challenge? Do you want to put in the work? That's the main gist. However, I have noticed that a large majority of students that choose to do Running Start know that they want to go to college, and that is even like if you just want to get your 2-year degree that you can get at a community college. Running Start is good for that because you save money. I personally know like the career path I want to go down, and knowing that has really helped me with my drive and motivation for education and wanting to do Running Start, and it's helped me a lot in having a large variety of classes that I can take to help me know for sure that that was the path I wanted to go down. Another thing is I've noticed that the students care a lot about their education. Personally, going to high school, I did sort of feel like an outsider, I guess, because a lot of those students, I guess, goof around or whatnot. And being able to go to a place where everyone there wanted to learn and they weren't just there to like goof off, I guess, that was really important to me, and I've noticed that it's like changed my whole view on school and everything. Another thing is if you have good time management and those types of skills, because like I said earlier, classes can be hard, but if you have a good time management and skills as such, then you will do well. It's less about how smart you are and all that stuff. It's about if you're willing to put in the work and the motivation to want to succeed. Because really, again, anyone can do Running Start. It just depends on if you want to put in the work or not. So another common question is, do I think that it prepares you for the future? I think definitely it really, really prepares you. I was really scared to start doing college work, but as soon as I started there and I started taking easier classes at first and I slowly worked my way to harder classes, I feel perfectly prepared. And when I was a sophomore, I was really worried about what it would be like when I transferred to a university. And now I feel a little bit more prepared for the university level work. So for those of you who want to go to a university, I think that Running Start really helps you know what those classes are like, and it just lets you have a point of view of what it's like to be a college student. Another thing is that a lot of schools offer AP or honors courses, and while those do also really prepare you, that more so helps you prepare for the content and material that you will be learning. But what I found is, in comparison to when I took AP classes versus Running Start classes, is you also get to know what it's like to work with like a professor and have a more lecture style rather than, you know, you spend half the class watching a slideshow and then the other half you do work. Running Start, the classes are more so set up to where you go and listen to a lecture and take notes, and then you go home and do all the work outside of that. And I think that it really helps you know what you are going to be looking at once you go to a university and whatnot.